Now, we all know the main highlight of this episode is Netero versus the King, the fight we've been waiting for so long. Literally, since the beginning of this arc, we finally see the King take on Netero. And I mean, the beginning part of this episode, I didn't really find bad either with the Pitou and Gon stuff, and the Knuckle also. But I mean, we all know that was shit in comparison to what transpired from the last 6 7 minutes of this episode. I mean, you had the King, who's pretty much just badass, just standing there taking hits from Netero's strongest move. We see Netero with these flashbacks, seeing himself training students and stuff, and then he starts going in on the King, with his Buddha stuff or whatever. And I mean, pretty much at this point, watching Netero do all this, kick all this ass, I mean, it's pretty much safe to say that he's probably top one, top two strongest characters in the show, in front or behind of the King, depending who will be the winner of this fight. Pretty much who the winner of this fight will determine who's the strongest character in this series. Because I mean, looking at this, they're on a totally different level of any other character hunter in this series. But pretty much before this, most people have thought, oh, it might be Hisoka. Some people are speculating Jing and stuff like that, even though we haven't seen Jing in the show. But right now, from what we've seen, from who we've seen in the show fight, I mean, it's gotta be either the King or Netero. I mean, Netero is just kicking ass right now. Now, I can see some people bashing the flashbacks that occurred in the middle of Netero's fight. I actually think, well, personally, I enjoy these flashbacks mainly because it helps emphasize the characters, past and how they actually, became what they are today. Like seeing Netero, we've seen his flashback, that one full episode where we've seen his past, how he got stronger. I used to train every single day, throwing, 10,000 punches or whatnot. But emphasizing these points, during the fight actually helps develop the character, on a whole different level. Then at the end of the fight, it helps to, seal the deal, I guess you can say, whether he wins or loses. Like for example, in other shows you have Jiraiya versus Pain. With all those flashbacks of Jiraiya with his books and all that, his death would not have been as sad. You know what I mean? That's why I believe that these flashbacks, although they might stop the fluidity of the fight, they really are pivotal. You get to see in this episode is Gon's progression, and having Knuckle having seen, the type of person that Gon has become, earlier on, back when Knuckle used to spar with Gon, Gon used to used to bow his head down to him, he used to look up to him, but then at this point you see Gon, is pretty much demanding things from Knuckle, being smarter than him, being more level-headed than him, despite all the things that's going on. So in terms of Gon's development, we've seen that he's taking major leaps from what he was originally. And I don't know, this probably won't be permanent, but for the time being, like, Gon is a whole different person. He's willing to kill anybody or anything that stands in his way, from essentially killing Pitou and helping bring back Kite. And you see Gon's calm, his cool headed level, in the sense that when Poof escapes, like any rational person would be yelling, trying to stop what's going on, but instead he calmly looks at Pitou and says, okay, dude, he left. You suffer the consequences. 10 less minutes. Of course, we see Pitou saying that this is all part of Pitou's plan. But, Gon is the one who's really pulling all the strings and orchestrating all of this. And Pitou finally sees Gon as a threat, saying that Pitou has to kill Gon now and get rid of him, because not only will it be a threat towards Pitou, but also towards the King, whether it's not now or if it's in the future.